Assalamu alaikum, sisters. Welcome to the first episode of Hold My Heart podcast, brought to you by After Maghrib. But things might look a bit different, the step might look a bit different, and that's because this is specifically just for you ladies who want to talk and discuss sensitive, overlooked, and important conversations that we need to have for sisters in the West, inshallah. My name is Brother Fatima. I am one of your co-hosts, but today I'm also joined by my co-host, Zohra. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Zohra.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. It's weird, I think, being on set for the first time and recording, because we've had this idea for months, I think. So how do you feel now that it's actually come to life? You know, we're recording for the first time as well. How do you feel right now?
I feel nervous, but at the same time I feel very excited because I think we're one step closer to helping the people in need, and I don't mean physically in need, sometimes spiritually as well. So it's all happening now, and so yeah, I feel excited. How about you?
I think we have podcasts, we know this, and everyone's probably wondering, why do you need another one? I think though this is unique in the sense of we can talk about topics that aren't spoken about for the sisters, especially for those living in the West.
We do have podcasts, yes, that's true, but we've got loads of women doing podcasts. But do we have a specific one where we can discuss issues that involve us, or personally involve us? Sometimes with those podcasts that are out there, I don't personally relate, and I don't know if you do too, because there are certain issues that are just not spoken about. Maybe it's taboo or whatever, but here we get to speak about those issues, and we're more in tune with our viewers on Instagram or wherever they are.
No, 100%. And I think the key thing that you said was talking about the topics that we feel like we need. And of course, After Maghrib is an amazing podcast, but when it's run by brothers and the podcast hosts are brothers, there's episodes that I've listened to where I'm like, if a female perspective I had in this moment, or you need a sister's perspective just here and there, and there's been so many moments. So I think just for the sisters in general, this is a podcast that it's been a long time coming, and to the viewers, we know you guys have been waiting for a few months, and inshallah the patience has paid off.
So let us properly introduce ourselves.
Yeah. The viewers are probably wondering, who
are you? Well, I'm Zohra. I've done quite a bit of charity work in different areas, so I don't just stick to one place, and so I move around. I did a bit of Who's Hussein, I did a bit of Nur Relief Fund, building water wells, and just fundraising, and I got to know the team of After Maghrib through charity work. I came to their event, and the brothers messaged me a couple months later, would you like to be part of the team? We are trying to launch a sisters podcast. And I did think about it, and I thought, amazing. I slept in it, and here I am. So yeah, I'm a co-host now. That's how I got to know the beautiful team, and that's how I met you and people behind the scenes. So yeah, that's just me and how I got here. How did you get here, and tell us about you?
Mine is a bit all over the place. So I recently graduated from SOAS with my law degree, and I'm sure most of you guys have heard as well, on university we have these ABSOCs, which stand for Ahlul Bayt societies.
Yeah.
And when I was going to uni, I similarly not having these female voices, I think was always apparent during my childhood.
Yeah.
Especially going to uni, you want to fit in, you want to find the right role models, and I felt like I was at a point in my life where I came in and I was like, who do I look up to? Where are the role models? Where are the women?
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
And so you have these ABSOC spaces, and it's an opportunity for younger students to really immerse themselves in the community work. So I started doing that in my second year. I stayed as vice president, then went on to presidency, and actually that's how I got to know the After Maghrib team. So I invited them to my campus. We did an event, alhamdulillah, went really, really well. The students engaged so much, and I think that's where I started to see how important the youth work is, especially for sisters in this space. And us initiating it is so important. So as now I'm graduating, I've been doing organization, project management with other organizations, but This specifically for me is so important because I feel like I didn't have any role models and I was a bit forced to step into leadership positions so I could somehow create that space for other sisters to be in. And I don't know if that you felt like that during uni. I know our uni experience will be a bit
Yeah, it was a
different.
bit different. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I remember when I joined uni, I went to City. I'm also a law graduate. I work in the legal field, but it's not something that I'm greatly passionate about, but it's more so that I want to help people. So I'm extremely passionate about helping people, but maybe not in the legal field. But anyways, so when I went university, my experience was completely different. I grew up in East London and it was rough. And in school, I was like the only Shia. I remember I can never forget this. I had two best friends in primary school. One was South African and one was Somali. And of course, they're both Sunnis. And one day they asked me, "How many times do you pray a day?" I said, "3." Because we combine prayers, right? So as Shia, so I said 3, and they just looked at each other, and one of them said, "Oh, she's Shia," and I didn't know what that was. I was like, "Oh my God, what is that?" And they looked at me in a certain way. So that was my first experience of being in an area where no one was like me. And then you move on to secondary school. Now you know you're a Shia, and again, it's East London. There's not many people who are out there who are Shias, so I didn't have that kind of connection with people around me, even like with the Muslim people or non-Muslim. Like for me, a lot of my friends are Christians or non-Muslims because
Interesting.
yes,
Okay.
a lot of the times, yes, in secondary, in even college, I went to a Catholic college. Some girls would ask me to hang out with them, and I would until they find out I'm Shia, and then they don't want to talk to you again. So I was
Right.
like, oh, okay. And then you go on to uni. So constantly you're being targeted or you've been left out or isolated because you're a Shia. And then you get to uni and you go to all these ABSOC events. And then when you go in there, they look at you. I felt really judged. And it was the first time I walked into a space like that, ABSOC. I walked in and I could just sense people's judgment and just people were looking at me but not saying hi or anything. So it felt really unwelcoming for me. So I went to the Icomel once and I never showed up again. So I left that space, but I did my own research and
Well, Zora, can I
alhamdulillah.
say the fact that you didn't shy away from the community, even though you're telling me growing up, you hardly felt like you had this, you belonged in the Shia community, but you didn't back away.
No, because I don't think you should back away from religion just because someone else is mistreating you. You have to do your own research. Free will. You have free will. Everyone has it. I honestly don't understand people who play victim and say I've been pushed away from religion because so and so reasons. So have I. But we both have different outcomes. Why is that? Because I researched, and you should too, before you judge someone else or judge someone's action and then say, oh, it's Islam. No, research it for yourself and find out if truly this religion is corrupt or not. Because that's how I found out. I know people aren't perfect. I know that. But I know the religion is perfect. The more I researched, the more I found out actually the religion is quite perfect. And
And you
people
didn't
just
let that
yeah,
experience like taint your
100%,
perception.
100%, because 3 or 4 people have said this to me so far, that they've been pushed away from religion because of how they've been treated by a parent or by a friend or by a partner. And then I just look at them because I've went through the same mistreatment, but that didn't stop me from researching. And I ended up in a completely different place. I ended up more religious. I, I care about my job deeply. And I care less about what people think, but
No, mashallah,
that's
that's
me.
a
What about
strong
you?
mindset to have.
Yeah.
I think for both of us,
Mm.
so we have different experiences in the community. For you didn't feel that identity growing up, and I'm sure a lot of the sisters watching 100% relate to that. And for me, although I did feel a part of the community and mashallah, I had a strong connection to the ABSOCs and the youth growing up and the centers, I think most of it, we still felt that gap regardless, right? We had different experiences, but that gap was still there. For female,
Yes.
that space was needed. And that's why we're here.
That's true.
So even when we talk about why this podcast is here, I can say this is so important to me because I needed that role model and I didn't have it. So I was kind of forced to step into these kind of roles. And likewise for you, you're saying you didn't have that at all, but it didn't stop you. And now we're here, completely different backgrounds, but with the same purpose, inshallah. And I think that's what makes this podcast so beautiful and gives the sisters their voices.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's something that you didn't feel before, right?
No, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But yes, there is a gap. Like you said, there's a huge gap because there's not many like people out there or women that do much. I always see, you know, these camps for boys from a certain age to a certain age, or for men grappling and everything. I'm like, what's there for us? What can I do? What? I'm like, there's nothing for us. And that needs to change because we need to create some weekend getaways and all of that because we don't have that.
And
that's what we're here to do.
Only the beginning, right?
I know.
We don't know. Who knows? Maybe this might inspire someone who's watching, who's just a sister, who wants those kind of things, just needs someone to do it. But why are we not doing it? Step in.
Look, I don't want to. There are some stuff for sisters, but it's kind of just like artwork, calligraphy. Let's go to a dinner.
That's important.
I get it. It's nice, right?
Yeah.
But what about for those people who are interested in sports?
Or interesting.
They want to go on like hikes. What is there? There's not much. And self-defense classes.
Interesting.
I'm saying all of this because that's what I want to do. Yeah. But
no, you're right.
I would be excited to be like, oh my God, there's, I don't know.
Sisters only self-defense classes.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And it's just within reach. So it's just, but then we don't have that. We need that. Yeah. We need that. But I think this is the first step.
Inshallah, this is the first step. Yeah. And even with like, for the viewers, like the guests that we invite, inshallah, the topics that we address, it will be topics that we feel like are extremely important to you and topics that are overlooked. I don't want to spoil it and tell what we're going to talk about, but even the guests that we have, they're women who have dedicated so much of their life to the community work and community service, and inshallah we will put them to light. And actually, I think that makes sense to also introduce our segment that we'll be holding every episode, and that is Hold My Thoughts. I think that's a beautiful segment that we're going to do. Do you want to explain it?
You can go.
Yeah. So the whole idea behind Hold My Thoughts is to get you viewers involved and your voice heard. So for us women, it's so important that it's not just us talking. We see what you guys want to say, what you have to say to us about these important topics that we're going to talk about. It's not merely a conversation between me and Sister Zohra. It's us, you guys, and our hearts connecting, inshallah. So we will put out questions on our Instagram and we will share what you guys have to say, whether that's, a struggle within the community that you find, the reason behind it. Inshallah, we'll read it out. If you want your name as well, you can include your name if you want. But if you want it anonymous, put it in anonymous, and inshallah, we'll share it here and give our own thoughts and discuss with you, inshallah. But
Yes, we will definitely give our own thoughts, but it is a beautiful segment that we will be doing hopefully for about 5 minutes per episode.
5 minutes every episode. I think that's good.
Yeah.
But Sister Zohra, we had some very interesting questions for each other.
Icebreakers.
I think we should go on to that. So the viewers, obviously, once obviously this podcast goes on, the viewers should know some stuff about us. So I'm going to ask you a question. You can ask me a question. But I think the question that I really want to know is, from the members of the Ahlul Bayt, who do you feel personally closest to, but why?
Oh, but why?
Give us a little story, maybe.
Okay, I've got this. So the Ahlul Bayt, of course, they're all infallible, and it's not really fair to say that I have a favorite one. They're all very exceptional people, but I think someone that I resonate towards a lot, or I look up to a lot, is Lady Zainab. And I don't mean this into just be like, oh, it's just a figure. No, the way she grew up, she's the daughter of Imam Ali and Lady Fatima Zahra alayhi salam, and the granddaughter of Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam. But she's been through so many difficulties, and she's like the epitome of resilience. She went through the tragedies of Karbala, and a lot happened in her life where she had to witness her brothers, her family slaughtered. And still, she stood up. She had her. She carried herself with respect, with dignity, with honor. And I honestly, this is my personal opinion. I honestly think that without her, I don't think Karbala would have continued. As in, she really advocated for her brother after his death. I think she played a pivotal role, and it was there to humiliate her, the way they paraded her through Sham and in the court, and in the end, she said she saw nothing but beauty. Like, how can you go through so much? Your brother's slaughtered in front of you. Your family are held captive. And believe me, my brothers are not angels or saints or anything. But if that happened to my family, I don't know what I would do. I don't even know if I could stand. And then to say that, oh, I saw nothing but beauty, that just shows how strong and resilient she is. And that's who I resonate with.
I think
the
for
most,
a
and I
lot
think
of
my
the
favorite.
sisters, Lady Zainab has a special
The
place.
hijab as well. The hijab, I think she plays like such a huge role in my life as well when it comes to hijab. Because I care a lot about my hijab, and it's not just because like, oh, I'm a Muslim and it's my religion. No, because Imam Hussein fought for our prayer and for our hijab, and like she fought for us to keep our hijabs on, to be free in the way we are, to practice our religion. So I can't think of anyone else to just be like, yeah, so and so is my favorite.
It's that courage.
Yeah, it's that courage. Yeah. What
That's
about you?
beautiful. That's a beautiful answer, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
My answer is a bit different, I would say.
Good.
For me, the Imam that really resonates with me is Imam al-Rida. So, and the reason is because I feel like a lot of people go through things in their life where they need a certain intercessor. And, you know, some people write letters to a certain Imam. 2 years ago, I started doing that to Imam al-Rida. I want to visit you, I want to go to Mashhad. There's something there. I feel like it's going to help me as a woman living in the West. It was something about that life that really attracted me. And so I started writing letters, and I said, I really, really want to visit. And subhanAllah, I wrote a letter, and I have like a art piece of his shrine in my bedroom. I looked at it and I said, Ya Imam Rida, I really want to visit you. I don't know how it's going to happen, but make it work.
Make it happen.
Just make it happen. The next day, my friend messaged me, do you want to go to Iran?
Oh, wow.
We have this package group. It was my first time. I was a bit nervous. I wasn't going with family. And now it's been 2 years in a row I've gone. Last time I went by myself. And it's a path and it's a journey, inshallah, that I'm exploring. But I think that's why Imam Rida will always hold that special place in my heart, because it's like I spoke to him directly. And you know, that intercessor you go to when you want to speak to Allah, and you're like, please, I know this personality is more beloved to you than I ever will be. And for me, I think I connected immensely on that. So
that's so interesting.
That would be my answer.
So when you said that, it reminded me of like my trip to Iran. There was a time where I went to Iran, but going to Mashhad was not part of the plan. I was like, you are? I'm going. I was like, I don't care who's following me, who's not, and I'm gonna go there. So I went to Iran, first Tehran, and then I realized no one has got plans to go up to Mashhad. And I was like, why? I was like, why would you come all this way and not visit your imam? Like, what is wrong with you guys? And then my brother was saying to me, your name has to be written. You have to be invited. I was
You
like,
have to be invited specifically.
I am. I was like, I feel it. I'm invited. And I don't know what happened. For some reason, we had to go Mashhad. And I ended up going to Mashhad.
SubhanAllah.
I know. And I was like, I was so happy when I saw that. And I was like, okay, I'm here. And then the next time, every time I go to Iran, I honestly, I'm on the verge of crying because in my head, someone's telling me you're either not invited or you go there and you go through so much trouble, and then you yourself think, okay, maybe I'm not wanted there. And so for the second time that I went, right, I went through so much difficulty. It was during the COVID time, and oh my God, I got on the plane, and flights were delayed. The flights were delayed. We got into Turkey, and then Turkey, I couldn't get onto my flight to Iran because they were saying, oh, it's coronavirus, you haven't had the vaccine. And I was like, oh my God. And they said, we can go and do a corona test and see if you can go through. I went, I had 15 minutes left to board the flight, and the test results would come in an hour. But I still tested my luck. I ran to the test center, and they were so like hesitant to do it. I was like, just do it. And then I was like, they said, you're not gonna get your answer. I was like, just do it. If I don't get it, if I don't get it, what's your problem? I'm paying for the corona test and everything. So I got it done, and it came back within 2 minutes. And then I ran, and you know how big Turkey airport is? I got on there. When I got on the seat, I started like shaking because I was like, I am invited.
You got that visit.
So I got it.
Yeah.
I'm here, but so that's just my story about Iran.
Yeah.
Sorry to digress, but
I think that's good. So we have so many different personalities that we can go into, but it's nice, especially for the viewers, to connect on who is the most special to us.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah. Okay, I have another question for you.
Oh, what question is that?
What's your favorite verses of the Quran or hadith or dua?
I'm gonna go for the dua question. I know a lot of sisters out there, they're gonna be like, that's my favorite dua as well.
Sorry, I didn't catch the dua. Sorry.
No, I didn't say it. I'm
I
gonna
was
say
like,
it now, so
okay.
they know. But I already know it's a lot of people's favorites, but dua Kamel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the reason I was like, I'm not gonna say it just yet, because I know a lot of sisters watching dua Kamel is one of those duas that I think resonate with a lot of Shias.
Yeah.
And for me, actually one of my mentors told me to do this. So I had, you know, when you go for specific people for advice and what do you want to do? And I remember I asked, I have this specific hajat, how do I get it answered? And he advised me, just recite dua Kamel, but don't miss a Thursday. Do it every Thursday and just keep going. I promise you, once I started doing it every Thursday, within 1 year, you know, you do that reflection, that self-reflection after that period, everything that I wanted was answered. But I think there's so many periods of times where we don't look back on when once we have those blessings, we take them for granted.
100%.
And it takes you a very long period of time to look back and be like, I really, really wanted this thing. And I did get it answered, but I just forgot about it. And I think that's why dua Kamel, whenever I go back to it, it always has that, because it makes me think about that time specifically. It's like the more you do it, the more khushu it creates in your house, whether you do it in the masjid or at home. I think you should do it anywhere you can. But yeah, I would say dua Kamel.
Dua Kamel.
But what about you? What's your favorite? Either Quran or dua or anything that you want to choose.
Okay, so I know it's probably very famous amongst like a lot of people, the same thing. I mean, it should be. So my favorite surah, it's Surah Al-Baqarah. It's quite a long surah, but it's just my favorite one simply because of protection. And I've read in so many places how good it is for you, for your household, and for your own family. And but my favorite verse in there is the Ayat al-Kursi. Like, I live by that. I genuinely, like, everywhere I'm going towards, from in the process, anytime I go, even if I'm just walking, I'm reciting what do you call it? Ayat al-Kursi, left, right, and center. And I think it's amazing because there's so many benefits to it. And I think for that reason, for protection, I just use that. And it's because I repeat it so often, it's become my favorite.
It's become familiar
to
your tongue.
That's
to your soul.
Yeah, it comes off smoothly.
Yeah.
So it's just
And so you probably don't even know that.
Yeah.
Like,
You start
what
reciting. It's
perspective you
become a
from.
habit. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
inshallah,
100%. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. I'd rather not. So it's working there.
Yeah.
So alhamdulillah, yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, we do have to wrap up very soon. But I think I should ask you one more question. That will be very interesting for the sisters watching. If there was a guest that you wanted to invite to our podcast, who would it be and why? And also maybe what topic that you'd want to do with them specifically.
I don't know if a lot of people know this figure, but Zahra Alibai or Zalibai from Instagram. She's not very well known in the UK, but she's quite good outside. I think she lives in Canada. So she's very active within the community. So she's a woman, she's an entrepreneur. So basically she does everything, lifestyle, cooking, all like fashion, everything. And it's just amazing how a woman can do so much with the same 24 hours that I get and that you get. Have our own business, raise our own kids, and the whole thing. So I'd love to have a conversation with her. And I think she can have I think she's very easy, and I think she could have a conversation about anything and everything from what I've seen from her, like Instagram. So I think mainly people would want to know how she balances her life between her children, cooking, and then also fitness as well, because it's quite important. So yeah, what about you? Who would you like on the show, and what would you talk about?
I feel like it might be interesting for me to maybe say a male scholar, because I feel like sisters don't have that space to have that maybe conversation with a male scholar that we've always wanted to speak to just have their thoughts on specific topics. So for me, if it was possible, I think, and I'm probably, you've heard, but Sheikh Azar Nasser from, I think it's a Canada or America. I always forget one of those two. But he has had a profound impact on me growing up. And I'm always like, he did Muharram here in London as well. So he's had this impact, I think, worldwide. And I think having him here would be a step for the sisters to talk about sensitive topics, but from another perspective. I think that's also what we might need here.
I think he's quite good. He's very straight to the point. Like straight to the point, no sugarcoating. This is what it is. You like it, don't like it, couldn't care. So it's just like, so yeah, he's very good as well. And also I think it's important for us to invite guests over where we can ask questions freely that other people would want to know. So because a lot of people, when for example, I will use After Maghrib as an example. So when they do bring guests over and they discuss topics, it's mainly from the viewpoints of men that they ask those questions. So a lot of the times we don't get to sit with sheikhs or scholars to ask our own questions that relate simply or to women, you know. So it'd be nice to have these guests over.
And inshallah, that's the purpose, the aim of this podcast. Unfortunately, we do have to wrap up the first introduction episode. But Zohra, it was lovely speaking to you, getting to know you on a deeper level. I really hope, viewers, you understand a little bit more about us, who we are. Please tune in again. We're not going to stop here. We're going to keep going, more episodes, more guests. Please like, subscribe. Our Instagram as well, Hold My Heart Podcast. Please take a look, engage with us as much as you can. And inshallah, we will be back with another episode. Assalamu alaikum.